What's going on, everybody? My name is Jason, and this is going to be a ranking of all the Planet of the Apes movies. As everyone knows, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes just released, so I decided to do a ranking of this franchise. Coming in last place is Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Now, I thought this movie was just wild. I wouldn't say the movie is downright terrible, but it's just very wild. It felt like the directors, the makers of the movie, filmmakers of the movie, just threw every idea they had into this, and they just crumbled it up all together. It's just a very wild, especially in the third act. It's just very wild. Biggest flaws in this movie, the effects. They just look, even for an old movie, the effects just look terrible. Like, I think the problem is they just went too big with with their ideas, so they had to have like some sort of effects that I don't think the budget can match it. So I think that was the biggest problem. The effects were just downright terrible. But the movie was very entertaining. There was no moments during me watching the movie where I felt like I wanted to check the time or anything like that. Another flaw I think I had with the movie was the introduction of the mutants. I just did not like that. It was just very weird. The color costumes on them, the mask, it just looked ugly. It looked weird. I just didn't like them. But I was very entertained. It's one of those movies that felt a little bit like so bad it's good, because it's so crazy. It's such a crazy third act, but it's definitely very entertaining. So, but still comes in last place out of all of them. Still in last place. Coming in ninth place, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. I know a lot of people. I've seen some reviews saying that this is one of the better Planet of the Apes movies, but I really don't think so. I don't know why people say this is one of the better ones. To me, the first half of the movie is just very, very goofy. Like, most of these the early Planet of the Apes movies, they're very goofy, but I felt like this just took it to a whole new level. It's just very goofy. I do like the I forget what their names, Zero and Cornelius. I think they're pretty good characters. I just don't think this fish out of water fits their characters, though. It just felt too goofy, and it just wasn't a story that I was just felt very connected to. Even though I did think the story was pretty emotional, which I liked, but it first half just really ruined it for me. So just comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. I know I've seen a lot of reviews say that this is one of the worst ones, but I didn't think it was that bad. However, did have a lot of flaws with it. All the positive things I would say about it is, I think I definitely thought the battle scene at the end was pretty decent, and that was pretty much it. The major flaws with this movie is just it felt like the movie just had no plot. It just felt directionless. The plot just felt directionless, and it just felt like the overall character arc for this version of Caesar in this movie just had no. He just had no arc whatsoever. It felt like the plot was just going nowhere, and the costumes on the villains just look so bad. It looks so goofy with those stupid hats that they had. The villain in this movie was just super lame. But I definitely got entertained by it. I feel like, as the case of a lot of these early Planet of the Apes movies, they're very entertaining, but they're also very flawed movies, and that's kind of the way you have to look at these movies, is just with, I guess, seeing them as you're gonna be entertained. Don't expect a big, I guess, Barn Scorsese type movie or anything like that. But even though I did have a lot of flaws to this movie, I definitely wasn't very entertained. So comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. I just thought this was a very entertaining movie. It the costuming, especially in the scenes where like the apes were taking over, it looked pretty goofy, but I was still very entertained. I definitely felt the lighting in this movie compared to the sequels before it. I felt this movie had better lighting overall. In the early movies, I felt it was kind of looked like they just put one light on top of the actor and that was it. This I felt like they put more attention and focus into the lighting, which I liked a lot. Um, I also did like the villain. The villain was actually pretty cool. I wouldn't say cool, but it was more, I guess, menacing. He was a very menacing character. He's a character I think like when he got his comeuppance, I definitely was felt really satisfied at the end. But yeah, overall, it was pretty entertaining. It wasn't great at all. A lot of these sequels aren't that great. They're just very entertaining though. So that's I wouldn't consider all these terrible, but I just do consider them very flawed movies. So yeah, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, Planet of the Apes 2001 remake. I actually didn't think this was too bad. I've seen a lot of reviews say it's one of the worst movies like in the Planet of the Apes franchise. I really don't think so. One of my favorite things about this movie is the costuming and the makeup. It just looks incredible. My favorite art costume in the movie was General Thade, played by Tim Roth. His costume just looks so awesome. His makeup just looks so awesome. I just love the armor that he wears, and just the set design was just all around just really like amazing. As the case, I think like Tim Burton, I can't speak. Tim Burton is a very either you hate him or you love him type of director. He makes movies that are very I guess visually and audio like visually appealing movies, but sometimes the script and like the story isn't all there. A lot of his movies, and but I feel like this movie he kind of I don't know. It just felt more, I guess, like what a modern retelling of the first one would look like. And I just definitely just enjoyed it. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't, fantastic. I wouldn't say it was like the best Planet of the Apes movie or anything, but I was very shocked that I was gonna enjoy this movie that much. It was pretty decent. And I don't understand why I think people overhate this movie. Um, One of the flaws I will say is they kind of like were forcing kind of like a love triangle between Mark Wahlberg's character and Ari and the I forget what her name was. I forget one of the human characters, the blonde human characters, and I just thought that was kind of weird. So it wasn't too it wasn't for me. But I think this movie is very overhated. But yeah, coming in number 6, Planet of the Apes 2001. Coming in at number 5, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So I think this was actually a pretty good way to reboot the series, starting from fresh. And my biggest flaw with this movie was just the chemistry between the two lead human characters, James Franco, and I forget what was the actress's name, but the romantic interest to James Franco's character. I just did not like. I don't think the two actors had no chemistry. Like it felt like two people completely not in love. Overall, the dialogue between the human characters just didn't work for me. It just felt Dialogue just wasn't good for the human characters. I definitely do like the way they kind of when Caesar first goes into the chimp sanctuary, where he kind of all the story is told through kind of eye contact between him and the other apes. And it tells a story without even using dialogue, which is pretty amazing. My favorite part of this about this movie was the bridge scene. The bridge scene was just awesome. I think it's the best action sequence in the entire franchise. In my personal opinion, it's really amazing. Yeah, just a great way to kick off a reboot of a series. Kick off to one of the best science fiction trilogies of all time. So comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and I just thought this was a pretty good Planet of the Apes movie. It had everything you expect from a Planet of the Apes movie: action, you know, really intense scenes between the apes and stuff like that. My biggest issue with this movie is I just wish they given us a little bit more. And one example would be, I wish they did more with William H. Macy's character and maybe do his backstory, because he was a very interesting character, and they just kind of like wasted him. My other flaw, I just wish they kind of picked a. I wish they picked a big. I kind of wish they picked a better ending to the movie. It just felt like the movie left more questions than answers for the franchise, which I just didn't find very satisfying. But overall, I think it's a pretty good movie. No, other than that, no flaws. Yeah, just a pretty good Planet of the Apes movie. Number 4, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Coming in third place, the original Planet of the Apes 1968. And I thought this was a really fun one to watch, because I'm not the biggest fan of really old movies, and every time I see trailers of this movie or clips, I've always kind of like, I guess, secretly made fun of like the costumes of the apes and stuff, and how like goofy it looks. But watching it, I do feel like the movie felt like it had thematical elements and stuff, the message it was trying to send with its story, which I appreciated, especially in regards to like evolution and like rights and stuff. And I like Charlton Heston's character. I like the courtroom scene they had. It was at times very goofy, but I just dug the the commentary of it. Seeing the scene where Charlton Heston sees a Statue of Liberty is just so iconic, so memorable. This movie is just very memorable. Definitely was very entertained. Yeah, the scene where he sees the Statue of Liberty is just so awesome. It's such an awesome scene. And I also love the scene, get your paws off me, you damn dirty ape. That's such a badass scene. Yeah, it's such a memorable movie, iconic for so many reasons. So nothing comes in at third place. Coming in second place, War for the Planet of the Apes. I thought this was a pretty epic way to conclude a trilogy. Pretty satisfying. I do have one big flaw with it. My biggest flaw was I just felt like I just wish it had just a much bigger final battle scene. To me, the final battle just felt a little anticlimactic. I wish, I definitely felt the way that Woody Harrelson's character dies in the movie was very poetic, and I feel like it kind of had to be that way. But at the same time, I just wish we saw like a big battle between him and Caesar. It would have been so epic. And another flaw I kind of had with the movie is I feel like the first half of the movie was definitely a lot better than the second half. As in the first half, it really feels like a war movie, and the second half, it just feels like a prison movie. And when you have like a movie that's called War for the Planet of the Apes, it should feel like a war. And this movie just doesn't feel that way too much. And it was kind of like, I don't, maybe my expectations is too high for this one, but I just wish it felt more like a war movie in this universe. And I was a little disappointed, but I still feel like the way they sent off Caesar's character was very, very satisfying. Love the cinematography. Matt Reeves was just he just knew how to like make movies in this franchise. It was just very epic. Matt Reeves is probably one of the best directors working today, and yeah, this is proof of that. And I just wish if they just fixed that, like just made it more, I guess, more into a war movie. I think I would have put it in first place, but I just, just I really wanted to give this first place. I really did, but I couldn't. And finally, coming in first place, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I just thought this movie was just so epic. I love the character arc for Caesar was just awesome. The story in China was just awesome. Little battle sequence in the kind of the human area was just really epic. Amazing character arc. Kova for me, you can make the argument he's the best villain in the movie, in the franchise. The dynamic between him and Caesar was just so compelling. It just glued your eye. It just glues your eyes to the screen. It's just very awesome. The human character, I feel like the dialogue in this movie compared to Rise is just so much better, especially with the humans. Just a great character arc for Caesar overall. It's an awesome movie. Matt Reeves did such an amazing job with it. Not much else I can say that I can praise this movie. It was just. I remember watching this movie. I think it was like a few days ago, and I almost pulled an all-nighter watching this movie. I watched this movie all freaking night. It was just awesome. But yeah, Dawn of the Planet comes in at number 1. Let me know what your guys' favorite Planet of the Apes movie is. Let me know down in the comments. We all have different favorite ones, so I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out.